Hello Channel Need viewers, welcome to another episode on Channel Need. So this is a very special episode because we have achieved about 2,000 viewers cumulatively across all our videos, and we really wish and want to thank all our viewers for supporting us so far. We are going to reach our next milestone very soon, which is 100 subscribers. So please support us by liking and subscribing to us so that we can reach this milestone really soon, because we are very committed to producing interesting and relevant material for all our viewers based on the topic of psychology. So today we have a guest, Hayati. She's a trainer. So what's our relationship?
So he's my lecturer and I'm his student.
Okay, so today we have a very important role to play because we are going to talk about social distancing and why it is necessary. So we used to have a lot of props like toilet rolls and all things. So today I have a prop too. This is a measuring tape. So why did I bring this measuring tape? Because the recommended social distance between friends and acquaintances, maybe when we are talking, is 1 meter away, right? So I thought that maybe we can just use this measuring tape for fun to see how far 1 meter actually is.
Okay, let's
It's actually this far. Wow. Do you think you can actually stand 1 meter away to talk to a friend?
If I'm going to stand away from 1 meter, I'll be out of the camera.
That's true. So maybe it's an arbitrary distance. Anyway, besides using the measuring tape, I also found something interesting. Each toilet roll, right, has a diameter of 10 cm. So if you have 10 toilet rolls in between us, right, there
hoarding the toilet roll.
That must also be 1 meter away. Yeah. I never hoard toilet roll.
Okay.
I just want to measure the toilet rolls.
Okay.
So, what do you feel about? What do you understand by social distancing?
To me, honestly, sad to say, it's another implementation from the government.
Okay.
For us to be more aware of keeping a distance between one another.
Yes. So the objective of social distancing is basically just to reduce the probability of contact, direct contact especially, between people who may or may not be infected. So this is to minimize and slow down the disease transmission. Social distancing is especially effective for certain types of diseases, such as those that are airborne and those that are droplet contact types. So when you sneeze and when you cough, you can actually transmit using via droplets like the COVID-19. So the social distancing is a very effective method for the control of this type of disease.
Very true. In fact, if we go around McDonald's and so forth, places, some food outlets, they already put an X or some indication that you cannot sit at those places. Yes.
So if we do not go to a normal food outlet where you can see this X already there, right? How do you know whether you are 1 meter or at least further away? So this comes a concept where we are all quite familiar with. It's called normal comfort distance between friends and acquaintances. So we naturally already have a normal distance that we actually have with our friends. So for intimate couples, it might be 0 centimeters. For close friends, it may be 30 cm away. So what we need to do now is to consciously step make 1 or 2 steps back when talking to a friend. The objective is to actually protect one another. So it's actually a good initiative.
Don't you think wearing a mask will help, even though there's a mask and then you still have to keep the distance?
Different topic. So today, right, actually we are more interested to know, is social distancing effective? So before we actually go on talking about social distancing, in psychology there's actually a concept called social distance, which is very different from what we understand as social distancing. So in one of the videos to come, we are going to talk about what social distance in psychology means. So a lot of the researchers, they are actually unhappy about the definition of social distancing as we know it now. They would rather we call it physical distancing, because social distance already has a separate meaning in psychology and in sociology.
Okay.
Do you know about that?
Not really.
Okay, then go and watch the episode that will come about 2-3 episodes later. We'll talk about social distance. But for now, we talk about social distancing. Has it caused you any disruption?
Yes, of course, because you're so used to, and
Okay.
it's already at the back of your mind, and you're subconsciously, it's part of your behavior. So when you tend to meet someone, you tend to have a handshake and so forth. So you tend to do that. But again, with this thing is being implemented, you got no choice, but you have to tell yourself, okay, one step back forward. Or even when in my class, I cannot be so close to my students, so I have to keep it away. So it's not easy, because sometimes you're, subconsciously you're doing it also. So yeah.
Do you think Singapore is doing very well in the control of our COVID-19 epidemic?
In terms of social distancing?
Yes. In terms of control, maybe
Control, probably yes, we are.
compared to other countries,
Correct,
right?
of course. We were like the top 3 at the moment. Previously, and now we are like almost at the bottom. So I think we have done well.
I was actually looking through the internet and my Facebook posts, and social distancing is actually one of the most checked keywords this period, and a lot of my Facebook friends were actually commenting on it. Some are quite unhappy about it. So there might be some citizens who think that the government is too controlling or don't trust the.
I think probably the government got no choice to keep on. Is a reminder to enforce and to keep on telling us to do it. Otherwise, can you imagine? There's no reminder. People will get complacent and they will still back to normal. So
I think you have a point there. So another point that I actually think is relevant is that this is a very chaotic and very stressful period, and people are very confused. They definitely need direction. So what the government is doing is providing us very clear, explicit instructions. Some countries, they are also trying to implement social distancing, but they are only using it as a recommended guide. So the fact that it is recommended gives their citizens some idea that it may not be necessary.
I think probably Singapore education itself, we are so-called, our education is such, everything is by the rules and everything is stated. So that's why it's like that.
So yes. In fact, right, I think one of the things that Singapore would do very well would be compliance rate, because we've been watching the news, we see a lot of other countries, especially those in the West and even in Hong Kong. So those of the citizens who have actually gotten a stay-home notification, they actually come out. Imagine if they actually had a virus, how fast it will actually spread.
I know Singapore. One thing about our enforcing part is actually to put in fines. Right, that part?
Yes.
Yeah. So again, I think that's helped a lot. Everything that comes with a fine, we got no choice, but
It's
we have to
going to be
do
fine,
it. Yes. Yes.
No, compliance is a very important psychological concept, because even in medicine, let's say the doctor advised that you take medication, you are expected to comply so that you will be totally cured of the disease. So in this case, we are all fighting against a common enemy, this COVID-19, which is affecting the world in a very destructive manner, destroying jobs. Not only is it a disease, it's actually a monster. I don't know how to describe it. So
I think because of this virus also have created a lot of awareness that a lot of things that we actually do in our daily life, that we're taking things for granted.
Yes. So it's a good period now that
to self-reflect.
To do self-reflection, to spend more time with your loved ones, and to upgrade yourself through learning.
Yes, of course.
Correct. So anyway, we can actually end our this episode, right, by showing some ways in which we can greet each other without touching each other. Okay, so we try.
Okay, sure. So
what do you have recommended?
Okay.
We can sit down and then we can just describe it if we are not able to use our hands.
Okay, one of the interesting way that I I've heard, or
Uh-huh.
probably I've not actually practiced it. It's actually when you meet someone, we can actually use our right foot.
Oh, like this,
yes, and your right foot.
Can't see
and
our
then- yeah. So I mean, otherwise, it's a good hello or a smile is good enough.
Okay.
Yes.
So, because you are a Muslim, right?
Yes.
Okay. So if let's say somebody does this namaste, is it
Oh, yes.
impolite?
No, it's okay.
It's okay,
like
is
that.
it?
Or
Touch your heart.
correct, it's like that.
Okay.
Yes.
Or do the wiggle. Is it like
Yeah,
this?
this is Miss Singapore World, Miss Universe. Yes, you can
Okay.
do that.
Then
also.
what else can we? Oh, you know Chinese, right? They will also do this. The fist and the palm like that. Does it work for you? Is it okay?
No, for me, I prefer this one.
This.
Or this.
Okay.
Yes.
So you must also be very culturally sensitive when you are doing the correct type of greeting, huh?
But I strongly felt that, at the end of this gestures and everything, a smile and a greeting is the most wonderful way of greeting
Yes.
someone. Yes.
So Hayati will actually be with us again for our next episode on MBTI. She is an ESTJ, so we will see how different she is with the other types. And for now, today, we are going to wish all Singaporeans to stay healthy and to
Keep your social distance.
yes. And meanwhile, goodbye. And I'm so abrupt. And that's all for today. Goodbye.
Okay, fine.